Yes, Nigeria info.
Start producing. We don't just export, raw materials like that. Because most of the time, have you realized that our farmers, even in the mining sector, we just get these things raw and just export it to these countries. Then they go and manufacture it and bring back 10 products out of that one thing. Now imagine if, for example, the yams that we keep exporting to other countries, we have, agro-processing industries that, processes yam into this, into that. Cassava that is said to be very medicinal. It can be used for a lot of things. Cassava can be, is useful for beauty products, pharmaceuticals, for this and that. Now, imagine if you had our own industries that these things are processed here in the country and then we get to export the finished products because we manufactured it here. We're producing it here. We are not so heavily reliant. Do you know how that is going to turn the tides of our economy in the country and how that will create a huge employment, in the country? So these are some of the things we're talking about, and I'd like to hear more from you guys. Hello. Okay, sorry, I didn't stay. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, Barrister, good afternoon.
You're welcome.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Ojo on the line, the next president.
Okay, Ojo, go ahead.
Salasi, how is Ibadan? Yeah, enjoy yourself. Yeah, concerning the reduction in price of fuel has not reflected on the general price in the country. I tell you, it will not reduce anything. Because what is the difference between 50 naira, 100 naira from the price of fuel? And considering the kind of person we are in this country, when price of fuel increase, everybody will increase. But when it comes down, nobody will want to adjust. Until it comes to like 500 before we can see changes on that. And like others have said, Salasi and the first caller, the major problem we are having with this issue of inflation and prices of things with this government is believing that until they have enough money, they have high revenue before they can do anything meaningful, which is very wrong. It's a wrong policy that customs should begin to generate trillions of naira before we can government can get money. It's very wrong because majority of things we are using in this country are exported products, imported products. So if custom, like last year, custom increased their duty up to 6 or 5 times in a year, which is very wrong. Look at the vehicle we are buying before this government like this Corolla. They are buying at the rate of 2 million highest. How much is it now? Even some of us that have to buy car, we have already dashed off that hope because of the excess duty on the imported cars. Now we don't have local car that we can fall on to. That is good enough. Yes, Innocent is trying, but this government has to reduce the rate at which custom is charging everything in this country because we don't have substitute products that we can fall back upon. So definitely whether they reduce the price of fuel to as much as 200, it may not reflect because other things are coming in place that people are still paying on. They want to reduce this price of fuel. Then I've said it before yesterday that something we are producing in this country to be put on local currency. The issue of gas, the issue of petrol shouldn't be on dollar. Once you are producing it in the country, why must you put everything on dollar now?
All right. Thank you.
That's what government should look into. Thank you.
Appreciate. Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, you're welcome.
It's a lot of coming from Niger State.
Okay.
I think the next president agreed. I think we as the first caller just said, reduce custom duty one, fix our road. The main road that we used to bring this goods from Lagos, they are bad. You understand? We fix them. Like this former bomber used, this former bus, each of that tire now is more than 100,000 naira. Each of the tire of that motor is more than 100,000. Those days is how much? It's no less than maybe 25,000, 15,000. You understand? So, and if you are not taking before you travel to Lagos to Abuja, you may condemn one tire or two tires. You understand? So they should bring down custom duty. Ordinary golf, those days is no less than 600,000. Now it's more than 3.5 million. I think they should hit our road, reduce custom duty, and change the spirit of your economic team. You change them. If they are not functioning very well, you change them. You look for people that know what Nigerians need and bring them.
All right.
Ask them question. What do we do so that this thing will come back to normal? Then give your answer. Then you work with them. You don't continue with people that you know that they have nothing to give you for almost 2 years now. I think they need to change. That's not it. Thank you. God bless Nigeria.
All right. God bless Nigeria. Hello.
Hey, I will call in your.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
The only woman that speaks with a lot of anointed voice.
Good afternoon.
Happy New Year to you, ma'am.
Same to you, sir. Thank you. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Yeah. We're talking about increasing our economy and boosting our economy. I mean,
and reducing inflation.
Boosting our economy. I think what we need to do that can really help us is not about cutting down what they call it import duty, the charges of import duty. The best thing we are going to do, every state in Nigeria should go into production. If it's only farming we are doing in Nigeria, you know, in Dubai here, we don't have farm. All the food they are eating in Dubai, they are bringing them from India, from Pakistan, from Africa, from so many nations. There are a lot of things we can produce in Nigeria and export to other nations that will generate revenue, that will bring in dollar, bring in hard currency for us, that will boost our economy. One of the things, let me tell you, in Dubai, do you know some of the eggs we eat here are chemicals? They are human-made eggs that we are buying. I don't eat. Because when you buy the egg, you cook it, you be smelling the yolk that will be smelling chemical. So I don't eat that kind of egg. I don't eat it.
Wow.
That kind of thing will end up damaging your body system. So what am I saying is that, like each state in Nigeria, the number of people in each state in Nigeria should be a blessing to Nigeria. Our governors should use their brain and use the number of people they have, use them to produce what we can export to other nations. What Nigeria can do. One of the things that I brought my house with Nigeria, you know, when I was in Nigeria, ma'am, I produced a shirt. I produced some shirts to sell in Nigeria. One medical doctor saw the shirts. I took him. He loved it. Wow. He picked for it immediately. He asked me how much the price. He put it in. He told his wife, please help me with money. I want to pay the pastor some money. So he now asked me, which country did they make the shirt? I said, I made it by myself. He said, no, I'm not buying it. I don't wear it in Nigeria. First of all, embarrassed. He returned the 4 shirts back to me.
Wow.
Nigeria. And I'm telling you, some of these clothes you are buying in Nigeria, some of these shoes you are buying in Nigeria, they were made in Aba. They were exported to another nation. We now import it back to Nigeria. What is wrong with our leaders? So all each state governors should go into production, should go into farming, should use the resources that we have in their state to develop their state. Nigeria economy will be competing with all the nations in the world. So we have no reason to be poor, my sister. Let me tell you, one of the reasons why we are poor in Nigeria is because the best government we rate in Nigeria, tell me the achievement. He built road, built bridges, he built airports, and those things he's building is using our money, is importing the people that are building those things, paying them in dollars, and they are bringing all the resources they are using from outside the country, not even what we have. And some of them will even come. Those that are building roads, they will use our rock, break our rock, use our own stone, collect and sell it for us, and use to build our road. What is wrong with our head in Nigeria?
All right.
Media, until our governor, not President Chan, and not President, all the governors of the state should sit up and use what we have in our state to develop our land. And
Right.
Nigeria shall be great again in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
And regard to Kende Olariwaju of Larry Shishimoto, God bless you all. Have a wonderful celebration, ma'am.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for the
Pastor
opportunity.
TJ from Dubai.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, come on.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
I'm not an economist, but I want to advise like this.
Tell us your name first, sir, before you make your comment.
Hello?
Yes, sir. We need you to call your name first before you comment.
Okay, my name is Idola Victor from Vita Lagi.
Okay.
So I want to advise government. You see, as a matter of fact, our leaders, I think they have to sit down and think deeply, especially the economic needs of this administration. You see, we have to make sacrifices. You see, I think we have to start from Ajakuta. You see, Ajakuta, that moribund industries has to be revived now as soon as possible. Especially this year. Government has to at least go into partnership. Maybe they want to go into partnership with Russia and other countries, so that industry will start production next year. You see, we need skills in this country. And we have a minister now who is only in charge of skill development and it's for COVID. So the man should sit down and put in place policies that will revive that skill industry as soon as possible. And by the time we start to produce there, at least a lot of things will come out from that, a lot of finished products. Then we will be able to export and get more money. Then by that time, maybe we will now settle our naira instead of this craze for dollar, this dollarization policy. It's not affecting us. And our leaders, as a matter of fact, they are benefiting a lot from this dollarization. And therefore, they know the right thing to do, but they don't want to do it. So look at the other still growing industry, the one in Oshogo. It's wonderful. The one in Delta is wonderful. So this is where we should start from this industry that we stretch out a lot of the foreign exchange. We will start a lot. So let us start from this place, and there, and things will now come down. All these values, all these finished goods we import, and then it will reduce. Then look at our manufacturing industry too. Let them revive them. This automobile industry, we have to do a lot so that we're able to get a lot and stop all this craze for dollarization. We have to individualize. Individualization is very important before we can move forward as a nation.
All right. Thank you so much. Right, let me take on this one. It's a WhatsApp call. Oh, it just went off now. Okay. All right, let's read a little bit of the messages that have come in this afternoon. Good afternoon, Swat. Mike from Abuja. One of the ways to introduce and implement dry season farming, there should be all season farming in Nigeria. There must be subsidy and adequate investment by government into the agricultural sector. Then 2, construction of railway lines should be a priority. However, some of the government policies will never bring inflation down to 15%. Okay. Good afternoon. If the Tinubu-led government want to reduce inflation rate and cost of living, the following should be done by the government. 90% of eradication of all kinds of insecurity. The former Minister of Agriculture under GEJ, who is the current president of Africa Development Bank, should be appointed as special advisor to the president on agriculture to replicate policies he used during GEJ, that fertilizer and other agri inputs were received directly to farmers. Then 3, a drastic reduction in the cost of production, such as subsidy of energy and electricity. What happened to our farmers, or what happened to our farmers' settlement across Nigeria that we were taught in secondary school? The 3 tiers of government should establish farm plantation, mechanized in all the 776 local governments. Then 5, all political office holders headed by Tinubu should stop corruption, wastages, and misappropriation of our resources. In the words of Peter Obi, if I don't steal, My wife don't steal. My children don't steal. People working with me will not steal. Mr. Godwin from Area 11. Okay. Gabriel from Lube said the president is saying that inflation will drop to 15% this year. We should not be surprised about this. After all, we're in a country where what is impossible in other countries is possible. He may just give an executive to the MBS to announce. That's not what we're talking about, Gabriel. We're asking you, how do you think we can achieve reduction in prices, effective inflation reduction in the country? What are some of the policies that are needed? Let's move away from some of this pessimism. All the time we're harping on the problem and we're not looking at the solution. So most of the time, I think what we would want to do moving forward on our platform is to always, be driven by conversations that will bring about solution. Yes, people can talk about the situation, but enough of the cries and, sarcasm and the pessimism and, nothing. If you are not solution minded, then maybe you should just listen to other people. Let's take this.
All Nigerian drivers, are you ready to hit the road and earn big? With Express Ride, it's super easy and so.
Hi everyone, my name is Swat. That's the name my father gave me, but you can always call me Her Vocal Majesty. I'm the host of The Sunny Side on 95.1 Nigeria Info. It takes place every weekday, noon to 3 p.m., where we get to have all the lovely contemporary conversations. If your days are normally long and gloomy, well, not anymore, because I'm here to make it all bright and sunny for you. So join me. It's an invitation. You don't want to miss out.
Sports Station. This is Nigeria Info.
Back to the sunny side with Swat. This is Sunny Side on 95.1 Nigeria Info.
All right, welcome back, and we continue our conversation. There's a question, and I would love to hear people's mindset on what policy drives, what action or inaction, what can be done tangibly, that will bring about attendant reduction in the prices of things, attendant reduction in inflation, like the president said. Okay, what do you think are some of the tangible steps or some of those practical steps that can be taken now on the side of government, policies that can be, put in place that would help reduce prices and make it more affordable for Nigerians? That's my question, right? If you have any idea, any solutions, anything you think that can be done, please engage me this afternoon on 0700 951 0000 and 08095974869. 08099930137 is another number to call. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, this is Pastor Friday Gordon.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah, I want to lend a voice to the discussion.
Okay.
Well, the president, is trying his best, and I want to commend him for doing his best. And unfortunately, just that his projection and everything just missed up in a way. Bringing inflation from, is it 35% to 15%? I think that is just a mirage and also a dream, which is a good dream. Anyway, the truth is that to bring this thing down, it still lies, the president is the cause of it. And the solution also lies with him. All he simply need to do, because Buhari left our exchange rate, just like you said, he left our exchange rate at 400 naira. And this man deliberately jacked it up from 404 naira to 1,500, got to 1,700. So as long as Nigeria is an import-dependent country, my sister, there is nothing this president will do other than going back to where this whole problem started, by seeing how you could reduce the exchange rate down to an appreciable level, let's say less than 1,000 naira. Otherwise, every of his effort is going to be in fertility. to be in the futility, in the sense that because Nigeria is an import dependent. In fact, almost everything we consume, apart from maybe some food we eat and all of that, every other thing depends on this dollar. So I think the simple solution lies with the president. So if you want to, I know he did this thing to make the government robust and all of that. And in the history of Nigeria, the Nigerian government as a government, not as a people, is having it. The government is buoyant, and also there's so much money for him to spend. All of that. Unfortunately, citizens are suffering. So the candid solution is advice is for him to do the needful by seeing how he can reduce the exchange rate. That's if it's even possible. So, but that is my advice.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Right. I think that is tied to the floating of the naira, which has brought about the downward spiral of the naira, the depreciation of the naira as against the dollar. Some people say, well, can you stop floating the naira? Once you're able to do that, let's go back to how it used to be. Maybe there lies in it a solution. Just like Mr. Friday was saying, about the naira, which is one of the major reasons why we are where we are in terms of inflation. We're heavily dependent on imports. And so how do you expect to have a very bad currency and then you expect that the economy is going to be prosperous, But then I think that's a very important point to make. Do you have other thoughts on this? If you do, please feel free, share with me. And we continue this conversation till about 2 o'clock. It's 1:30 right now. 0700 951 0000 and 080 999 30137, which is the WhatsApp. You can send a message via that too. Let me take this and then I'll also read more messages. Hello.
Hello, Auntie Swat. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Toshinan. I'm calling from that.
Toshinan, you can call me back, please. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Barrister Swat.
You're welcome.
Compliments.
Compliments.
Is this government people-oriented government? Does all the policies of this government aim to create a favorable environment to bring succor, to bring relief to Nigerians? They have the welfare and well-being of Nigeria in mind whenever they are promoting their policies. Never. This government is not people-oriented. With coming on board of Mr. President on the first day of the inaugural day, he went ahead and removed subsidies without recourse to what will be the fate of downtrodden people, the generality of Nigeria. And since that time, there had been public outcry, extreme public outcry. But in the latest budget presentation of Mr. President at the Parliament, the core word, he said no reversal, that he has no regret. Then what suggestion will you offer to this government? The government that lacks compassion, that is not in tandem with the public opinion. We see what happened. Of recent, there were countries in Ibadan, in Enugu, here in Abuja, over the extreme state of hunger, poverty, especially of Nigeria.
Okay, Mala Abakar, I understand all these things. Can we just look at it from a solution-based conversation? I understand all these things. But, I mean, there is also an intent that is announced. And I'm saying, okay, if the government says this, or we're seeing that things are reducing, or, prices are reducing, then what further can be done to make it easy for people?
If they are very sincere, according to them, their policy paper, they regulate the petroleum sector. They should bring more investors to come, let them come and open more refineries. Nigeria will not be bad if we can boast of 100 refineries. It's possible. With competition, healthy rivalry, we will even forget about who is Dangote. There will be 100 or more Dangote. See what happened when telecommunication sector was deregulated. There was liberalization. We see different network provider coming in with adequate technology, with financial wherewithal, they create wealth, they create income. Abubakar, who is a local prison, I own a phone cell. They will go on, continue. It expands into ICT industry. It expands into our entertainment industry. Our celebrities can be watched globally. That is the essence of being deregulated. When you say you deregulate the sector, but we are still under the pressure of monopolies of some few elements who are cornering our national resources. It will not be taken for granted. It will not take long industry. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Malam Abubakar. Appreciate that. Hello.
Hello, sorry, it's me again calling back, Commissioner from Gagolada.
Okay, Commissioner, go ahead.
I didn't even know I didn't have that time, the last
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Well done. Thank you. I remain Commissioner from Gagolada.
Okay.
Yes. Are you there?
Yes, I'm with you. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay. I think one of the ways that if government take it serious can help to reduce inflation, especially food inflation, and all kinds of inflation anyway. But it's through this floating of naira. Let them, because once you control the naira and try to reduce it, at least let it be 1,000 per dollar before the end of this year, it will help to reduce the price. What it will do is that the price of oil will come down. Then it is from there it will reflect in every other thing, especially in the family. But for now, the price of especially food inflation, no matter the step government is going to take now, it will not immediately affect the prices of food. Like just reduce the prices of food. It can at least to a minimum make it a bit stable that it will not increase much, but it will not reduce. Because now the way market is done in Nigeria, especially food, those marketers have already gone to the village and bought almost all the food and put it in a warehouse. So they are the one in charge of the marketer, are the one in charge of the food, and they can't sell it below the price they bought it. They will always sell it to get profit. But government can also help to make it stable by making sure that dollar will not go higher, and that will affect the price of petrol to come down. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Tongshin, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Appreciate it. Okay, let's read messages. Let's read messages as we keep moving in this conversation. If you want to join, you know how to send a message, or you can simply dial the numbers. But before we come back to the phone lines, This is from Patrick. Patrick said on the issue of stepping down inflation, as well as other related policy shifts to stem the economic hardship, etc., as coming from the talk of the president, Tinubu. The reality of it is that it takes nothing but a policy formulation, pronouncement, and direction in the areas of leakages, tax reduction, relaxation of import duties, encouraging favorable environment by tackling the incidents of banditry and leakages in government, etc., to create favorable farming environment for domestic food production and industrial material production for domestic industrial emergence and growth. Thank you, Mr. Patrick. The best way to reduce inflation is to improve production. To achieve this, we must improve on electricity or power, says Dave. Okay, great one there, Dave. Thank you so much. Charles, you say, good day, Swat. Happy New Year to you and entire Nigerians. What we need to do is bring down inflation and general prices of goods is to declare an emergency. Because when people are hungry, they resort to all sorts. You know, that's why you get to hear when people make statements like, me, all I'm just doing is going out to look for daily bread for me and my family. Let's just have food on the table. That's the number one priority for any person, any man, any woman. You're just looking for something that will sustain you, because that speaks of your survival as a person, right? But then also you have other things. You have health. That is increasingly becoming very worrisome, that people cannot go to hospital right now. Many people are resorting to the use of herbs, that is not regulated, and thereby further, endangering their lives and their health. Because you're going back home, you hear people say, we have to go to the village, because there's one herbalist there, or there's somebody we know that said that they used this solution, so we also want to go and try it. Why is this becoming more rampant? That's because people cannot have access to health. We don't even have anything like health insurance, or we have it, but, at a very micro level in the country. How many people enjoy health insurance? The HMOs and, the different programs that we have in the country. Just very few people. You can count the number of people who have access to that and are able to go to the hospital, at no cost. And even at that, you are told that, look, some sort of treatment you don't have access to it. If, for example, you need to have a surgery, you have to pay from your pocket, or just a very small percentage will be paid by your health insurance, and then, you have to cough out the rest for yourself. So we see these sort of things happening. What about, what else again? Okay, apart from health, what about education? What about education in the country? Research, all that falls under that. How much are we seeing of the funding? Many people are increasingly not motivated to go to school again because they cannot afford the cost that comes with it. On paper, most of the states say they have free education. When you go to states, they will tell you we have free primary education to secondary school and all of that. But in the real sense of it, it's not free, because you go and you find out that people are asking for this and that and that. Corruption is a big thing bane for education in the country. Because if government says it is free, they will tell you, okay, you have to pay for uniform. You have to bring broom. You have to bring this one and this one. And at the end of the day, if you don't even have it, just monetize it and bring it. So many of these very poor people, they don't even have that. And they will tell you, I can't send my child to school before they go and start asking for this different levy, this one, that one, and I don't have to give. People are just looking for things, So look at it from all angles. Transportation, look, different things. So we're looking at the way that all the attendant problems in terms of the costing or the prices, how can it be crushed somehow? What do we need to do to experience that ripple effect in terms of the prices crashing so that people are able to walk confidently and are able to afford health care? They're able to send their children to school. They're able to have food on their table. People are able to transport themselves if they need to move without thinking or having a headache or having to wake up at 4 a.m. and start trekking from Maraba because, you have to come to Central Area or you have to go to Wuse or something and carry on your sort of business because you cannot afford it. Think about it from all angles. There is the major problem of lack, inflation that is stopping a lot of commercial activities or growth in terms of individual prosperity, because people are incapacitated as at this moment. So if it is really true that the government is desirous of crashing inflation from 34.6 or from 35% to 15%, then what is the realistic step? It's not just about announcing it, but what can be really, really done in order to make this become a reality in Nigeria? Good afternoon, Madam Swat. There is no way inflation or control food prices without reversing the controversial subsidy removal, since energy prices determine the position and engine of democracy, says Ben. And this one says, good evening. It's not evening. I don't know why you're saying evening. Okay, but let me read this. I hope it's for me. You said to tackle inflation in Nigeria, reducing import tariff is a great place to start, as it can help decrease the cost of imported goods and subsequently reduce prices for consumers. Another approach is to improve productivity all across sectors, which can help increase the supply of goods and services, thereby reducing prices. Addressing security problems is also crucial, as it can help reduce the cost of logistics and transportation, making it easier for businesses to operate and pass savings on to consumers. Additionally, reducing cost of energy can have a significant impact, as high energy costs can drive up production costs and lead to higher prices for consumers. Stemming exchange rate depreciation is also important, as a stable exchange rate can help reduce cost of imported goods and services. Furthermore, reducing CBN's financing of fiscal deficit can help reduce the money supply and alleviate inflationary pressures. It's also worth noting that financial inclusion and digital payments can play a role in reducing inflation by increasing access to financial services and reducing reliance on cash. Some financial companies such as Creed Launch and Digivant MFB have already started exploring the solution. Ultimately, A combination of these approaches can help mitigate the effects of inflation in Nigeria. Experts also recommend that government should tackle food insecurity by building more strategic grain reserves and fixing moribund ones in the country, as well as enhance security situation in many farming communities. Thank you. Wani Dibos in Abuja, thank you so much. That's an interesting one. Pastor TJ said, let all state government empower their local governments to encourage farmers in each state. Let all our farm produce not be exported raw, such as cocoa, cola, cassava, etc. All the government officials should also start living by example by using made in Nigerian stuff, wear clothes made in Nigeria, eat our food, drive cars made by Nigerians. Finally, let their children school in Nigeria and stop paying school fees in dollars. Okay? That's what the pastor opines this afternoon. Thank you. Good afternoon, Swat. I'm Toyinbo Temidayo from Lambata, Kwali. The way forward to reduce inflation is for the federal government to provide enough public buses, stroke vehicles on the roads with subsidized transportation fares in all parts of Nigeria, then ban imported items, especially foodstuff. Okay? Let me take this one, then come back to the phone lines as we begin to round up. Good afternoon, Swat. Happy New Year to you and to all Nigerian full callers and listeners. This thing called floating of our naira is taking us backward. Let all our economies, the likes of Sanusi Lamido, Dr. Obadiah of Blessed Memory, how can he come together, my brother? You are saying he's of blessed memory. I say they should come together. He's dead now. Okay, he said this present government, they should come together with this present government. Yeah, the head boy. Thank you so much. Let me take on this one. Hello? Hello? Hello?
How are you?
I'm fine. Good afternoon. Happy New Year.
Yes. It's a nice discussion. Let me start by saying that I think we should move out of our delusion. Subsidy is not going to come back because even in the 2025 budget, is not there. So anything that is not budgeted for, obviously, we are not going to spend money on it. But for me, I have said this time with that number. Yes, we'll hold the center accountable. But do we ever ask ourselves the money all the state governors are getting? What is the problem with the state governors subsidizing food at all levels from state government? Let me tell you something, Swat. If all the 36 states of Nigeria, whose federal allocation has been increased, some of them by 50%, some of them by 100%, the same governors that cannot pay 30,000 minimum wage, now they can pay above 70,000. They decide to pay a billion to subsidize food at the state level. This inflation we're talking about in a matter of 3, 4, 5 months will go down. Secondly, in terms of energy, it's been almost 2 years now since the states have realized to say they can generate their own electricity. If you take the entire Nigeria, only about 2-3 states already passed that law. Other states are still dancing around. They don't even know what to do. Rather, they are building bridges that is not needed. And I think we, the people, need to focus more on the state governors and the local government. By end of this month, the local government will start getting their allocation directly to their own account without the state government interference. I think those are the people we need to hold fully responsible because they are making more money now, but they cannot subsidize food. They cannot even give some of their state citizens health insurance. I mean, a state that is getting 5 billion naira before from the federal allocation, they are getting above 10, 15 billion now. For me, subsidizing food with 1 billion naira, subsidizing health with 2 billion every month will not be an issue. If these things can be done at the state level, the federal will just do the type they need to do. I mean, if you listen to what the president was telling the government regarding agriculture, if we're going to change our states to production, these are things the state governments need to start with. They need to start producing at the state level. Yes, we can ask the federal to provide security coverage for them. But I tell you, if the sub-regional states are not working, there's nothing the center can do because you cannot just be taking money and be building bridges rather than going to producing from farm. For me, those are the things that is very important. And whether anything, we cannot continue to defend what is not defendable. You want Nigeria to be defending Naira, when you don't even have the dollar in the first place, those are wishes that cannot return. Let's be realistic to ourselves. Those two things cannot come back. But let's start holding these people that are getting more money now to start giving. For instance, I don't know why a state governor cannot build primary school and secondary school and pay teachers well, so that people can send their children to local school against sending them to private. I don't know why nobody's.
But that's the responsibility of local governments. I mean, primary schools and paying of the teachers, that falls under the purview of the local government.
That's what I'm saying. From this month, they will get their allocation directly. It's no longer going to go to the state governors. So we need to start holding the local government chairmen accountable. And remember, they don't even have immunity. You can easily take them to court. They don't have any immunity. So for me, our people need to decentralize their energy, leave the president alone, follow up with the local government, follow up with your state governor, follow up with your councillor, follow up with your state legislators. Those are the people you need to hold tightly to produce, give you health insurance, give you education at the state level.
Okay, yeah. So let me chip in something, right? I mean, very true. We need to also ask a lot of questions, and it's something that is very imperative that we check the state of the states and ask questions and stuff like that. But there are some policies also. There is a federal policy that tends to affect, the economy of the states. This fuel subsidy removal is not something that state governors can control. They cannot wake up and say, well, in our own state, you can come and buy. No, I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere, First Light. Do you understand? Which triggered the inflation that is present everywhere in the country. So basically, the question is, yes, so at the federal level, what can also be done, that would also impact invariably positively this state? Then apart from that, we now begin to look at other factors that we can begin to hold the state governors responsible. I think also we need to also take note of that.
Yes. So Swat, I agree with you. The decisions that were taken that brought this hardness from federal level, no doubt about that. But the second part that you need to also understand, before now, the state governors always tell us they don't have money. Isn't that what they used to say? Mm-hmm. Nasarawa state governor last month on the TV said it by himself, with his mouth, that in the last 12 months when the SWEP subsidy have been removed, he had not borrowed a penny. Some state governors have finished paying their debts. Some state governors are building flyovers where it's not needed. If we say that the federal government made the mistake to have removed fuel subsidy, but also, are we also aware of the fact that the state governors are making more money? I'll give you an example. Bayelsa had only 6 or 8 local government. Do you know how much Bayelsa gets every month from the federal allocation? It's almost $30 billion naira. A state that used to get less than 8 billion is getting almost 30 billion naira every month. Delta State gets almost 40 billion every month. Can you tell me reason why those states cannot subsidize food, education, and health of their citizens with 3 billion naira every month?
All right.
This is what I'm saying. I'm not sidelining the center, but if we hold the local governors very well to spend money appropriately where it's needed, this inflation we're talking about in 3, 4, 5 months, it will go down.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to you, First Light. Appreciate that. Let's take on this one. Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon to you. How you doing?
Fine. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Yeah. The question is, how can government fight this inflation problem? Mm-hmm. There was one text you read last. That text provided the practical solution on how to deal with this current inflation.
Okay.
It listed so many things to the point of subsidizing public transport system. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
That is a practical solution. And I like the way you put it to the last caller. That shows that you are very intelligent and you have knowledge about how, a national economy works in a country. You put it to him that there are some policies that are national. So nobody should come and tell us to go and be running after state governors. When federal government came up with the removal of subsidy on energy, which is a national policy. Number 2, devaluation of currency. Is it the state governor? This thing has multiple effects on the economy, which causes inflation on a very high scale. So this distraction, sometimes when I listen to some persons on radio, whether public affairs analysts or scholars,
more conversation.
Look like maybe they are sponsored to come and speak in a particular way.
All right.
I am hearing.
Sorry, let's take this quick commercial.
Welcome back to your number one talk news.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Okay, because I'm hearing someone saying that why can't get the state governor sponsor subsidized education? Who is paying state secondary school? Is it not state governor? Who is paying primary school education in every state? Is it not local government? So which one is federal government doing? So the solution is practical. The direction the federal government has taken is a wrong direction, and there is no way to correct it. If you want to subsidize food, you cannot go to market and say, "Oh, I pay for this, we'll share it." No, that's not how to do it. You start it from the farming level. When the system arrives, that is when you begin to subsidize fertilizer. You make this and that. What they call it input. You make it available for the farmers. By the time they also produce, they have no reason to sell at a very high cost because the cost of production is low. If the cost of production is low, the price of the output will also be low when they at the point of sale. So it's very simple. It's not all about we just dangling here and there. Nigerians we are intelligent. We know where the problem is, and that is it. The government just have to. There's nothing like we must continue to talk about subsidy or intervention. Because maybe the word subsidy has been misused, overused over time. Intervention. Government, different the government come in. If government wants to subsidize transportation, they will not pay the drivers. Government can go and bring buses. They can go and collect loans for buses in FCT. Madam, tell me why can't the FCT minister put one bus, single bus in FCT here? Okay, this we have not seen. And you say inflation will come down. If you put public transport in place, people will pay less. It will lead them. They will not be paying more when they are going to work. That's a relief on one side. That's how it goes.
All right.
It's not all about the nation. It goes by imagination prayer. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.